Happy New Year, everyone. This is going to be a short update, and I mean a short update. I'm going to try to keep it till 5 minutes. I've been reassessing what's left to do on my rec wrap build the other evening, and I'm actually getting quite close now, would you believe, to actually having the mechanical and possibly the electrical build finished shortly. I've been keeping a sort of, not a diary, but just a notepad of my progress and the dates that I've been doing things. Now, one of the things I've got 7 items here that remain outstanding. I've got to alter the power supply unit and get it connected. I've got to get the couplings for the Z-axis fitted. I'm going to talk about more about that in a moment. And it'll set up a filament storage or some sort of feed drum for the filament, obviously. Get the hot end or the extruder mounted to the gear mechanism. A needle source header pins and sockets for the Arduino and the ramps board, so I can connect the motors and other ancillary components to that. I actually ordered that last night. I've ordered more than I needed. It cost me about £3.50 for about 40 pins and 40 sockets. So I could have gotten that for 99p if I'd gotten to China for it, but I kind of want it now, so I'm not prepared to wait 2 weeks for that. The other thing is I still need the end stops. I've sourced one from a printer I've dismantled, but I'd rather have them all of the same specification, so there's no inconsistencies in the software. And I don't know if that would be an issue or not, but I'm just wanting them all the same, so it's going to be easier to set up. Get the little bearing spindle for the extruder cut, and those are the 7 things I need to do next. Now, it's been like that for a couple of weeks. It's been Christmas, it's been New Year, there's been things going on, so I've not looked at the printer in since I got my electronics anyway. So I think I showed this to you already. I've got the electronics fitted or mounted in the position I think I'm going to put them on. The only thing I was wanting to talk about today is getting the Z-axis set up. I've had an issue with these small printed parts which I sourced when I obtained all the other printed parts for this build. The design of this is that you've got a 8mm or supposedly an 8mm hole on one side and a 5mm hole on the other. Now, when you slacken these bolts off, that does indeed fit over the 8mm threaded rod, and when you tighten them up, it tightens up quite nicely. The problem is it doesn't tighten up on the 5mm shaft of the motor. Now, I asked a little bit of advice about that, and one guy suggested just getting a bit of PVC tubing, slipping it over the motor shaft, and that will give it enough packing so it'll tighten up on it, so that the motor will then, not the motor but the bracket will then tighten up on it. I was a bit sceptical about that idea. I didn't find it very robust. I've seen on a proper CNC equipment that have these aluminium couplings with grub screws in them, which would tighten up onto the flats of the shaft here and any other shaft that's connecting on the other side. And they've got little wee slots or slits cut in them, so that it introduces a slight amount of flex when the motor is starting up and stopping, so that it's not putting too much of a strain on the mechanism as a whole. Yeah. So I was thinking about turning something like that out on the lathe. And the more I thought about it, the more I added ideas to my design, and then I thought, well, it's a lot of work, eh? And I've decided to give this PVC tubing a go. I've had a little bit of think about it, and I've gone and sourced a little bit from the garage. I had a bit of spare lying in the garage. Now that actually is a reasonably tight fit slipping on over that motor shaft. Now that will now be that'll be a very tight fit now on that plastic coupling, so I should manage to get that quite a tight fit on that. Whether or not that then affects the fit on the 8mm spindle, I don't know. Yeah, hopefully both the spindle and the threaded rod will be sufficiently held tight enough so that there'll be no slipping over the coupling or the shaft or the threaded rod when the motor's under power. That was my main concern. I didn't want this slipping in any manner which would cause inconsistencies and jams, yeah, in the print. Because if this one slips and this one over here doesn't slip, then it's going to put the whole carriage off, you know. So, but I'm going to give that a go, because I think that might actually work reasonably well. So that's it, folks. I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to get my wiring done as soon as my headers and the male and female connectors arrive home. I've still got to look at the power supply. I've been kind of putting that off because it's a sort of thing that if you don't do it very carefully, you'll end up breaking it, and if it's not done correctly, it could end up breaking this as well. So I'm wanting to take my time over that. The other little things like the spindle for the extruder bracket, it's just, to be quite frank, it's been the holidays and I've been lazy. I've had other things on. I'm still looking for work, and yeah, you know, there's a lot on at the moment, so this is kind of taking a back seat. But I'm wanting to get this done. You know, my plan was to get this done in the winter time. This, you know, like 2013, 2014, so that come the spring, my free time is available to do other things. Right, so that's 8 minutes. I think I've gone over my 5-minute mark. Is there anything else I want to say? I don't think so. I've still got to mount the stepper drivers in here. That's just sitting in there loose at the moment. Then I've got to put the heat sinks on. I think they've got adhesive tape on the back. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. So yeah, oh yeah, these little clips, that's for the end stops. I've got 3 of them, one there and 2 here to mount yet, and then get all the wiring sorted out for that. I think one of the things I'll use initially just to tidy the wiring up is just these small plastic covered wires just to wrap round, and that'll help keep the wiring relatively tidy until I get a better solution. So yeah, I've got a lot going on right now, as I say, so I'm going to leave it at that, folks, and I will hopefully speak to you again soon. Hope you had a good Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye for now.